Well, here we are at the end of July, and it looks as though we are now unequivocally in what I would call a lose-lose situation. The war in Iran has become intractable. It looks now as though no amount of negotiation is going to end it. Obviously, an honorable exit would be for Donald Trump to admit that he has not managed to get regime change or an end to the nuclear arsenal or anything else that he purportedly may have wanted to get from the war. And he, therefore, will not have won. And of course, everyone knows the Iranians can't win. They can't really inflict any kind of pain on the Americans in a military sense. However, what the Iranians can do is they can make life miserable for the American economy and by extension for the global economy by closing the Strait of Hormuz. Now, we've already seen that this is going to be something that can happen, and we've seen markets and inflation ebb and flow, the price of oil ebb and flow based on the news of whether or not there's going to be an agreement or not with the Americans and the Iranians. Right now, things still seem reasonably calm because they're apparently talking again. What the Iranians have shown with regard to the previous memorandum of understanding is that they will negotiate in their own best interest. They negotiated a very favorable deal for themselves. It stood for maybe 48 hours before Donald Trump contravened Articles 1, 5, and 11 of the 14 articles in the MOU. And we went right back to where we were all along. And now there's even less good faith. The stakes are higher. And Trump is possibly running out of weapons to intercept Iranian drones and running out of targets to inflict pain at anyone. So the Iranians will continue to control the Strait of Hormuz as they negotiate, but there is very, very little hope that the Americans will actually agree to terms that will allow the Iranians to control the strait. And the primary reason for that is that the Americans have midterms coming up in the beginning of November, just over 90 days from now. So we're now in a situation where the war is almost certainly going to escalate. And by this time next month, it seems highly probable, maybe 85 or 90% likely that we will have a global oil shortage, not just the price of oil going up, not just long lineups, but the inability for people in many parts of the world, including Western Europe and Southeast Asia, to actually get oil when they need it at any price. And that means gas, of course, as well. So we now have a situation where the global economy is going to be brought to its knees because of a war that probably never should have started in the first place. When I tell people to make better wealth decisions, I tell them to think about things open-endedly and with an open mind. Obviously, everyone says take a long-term view, and obviously a lot of things have come and gone with regard to this war, which started almost half a year ago, that still have not been unequivocally resolved. So a lot of people think, well, there might still be an off-ramp. What I'm telling you right now is that legal scholars and geopolitical experts, people like Robert Peep at the University of Chicago, are saying that is now extremely unlikely. The only way that we can actually get off this right now is for the Americans, and specifically for Donald Trump, to admit he lost, and to do so with a midterm election only months away. That is a highly unlikely outcome. And as a result, this war is likely to continue. The Strait of Hormuz is likely to remain closed. Global secure supply and stockpiles of emergency oil are down to all-time lows already, and they're going to dwindle even further. There is significant economic pain coming, and I would urge you to reflect upon what you're doing in your portfolio to make adjustments in light of that forthcoming pain.
If you're worried about the current investment climate in your money, go to my website to book a call for personalized advice to assist you in feeling secure and protected about your retirement.